My friends, there's a certain way of practicing guitar that will allow you to make up to 10 times more progress than other guitar players that put in the exact same amount of effort and time into their practice routines. So with this video, I will show you the best method of getting great at guitar without putting in more time or work. And I promise that it will put you ahead of over 90% of guitar players out there. Let's start right away. This is today's first exercise I want to show you. Alright, so this might look a bit challenging, but don't click away from this video yet, because there's a big twist that makes all of this much easier than it looks. So as you can see with this exercise, I was playing 16th note triplets, so pretty fast note values. But why does it look like my picking hand isn't moving that much? So I'm not picking all of those 16th note triplets, I'm not playing like this. So I'm not picking all of those notes, I'm actually pulling off some notes. That's the first important detail that makes this a little bit easier than it looks, but this is also kind of the first big reveal of this method I want to show you. By including pull-offs with this exercise, I also make it quite challenging for my fretting hand, so this is not purely just a picking technique exercise. And by combining fast bursts of picking with those pull-offs in between, I'm training my hand synchronization with this exercise in a really effective way. Because here's the big twist, most of the time in our guitar practice routines, we are either working on our picking technique, so we're either really busy building our sweep picking technique or alternate picking technique, all of that fun stuff. Or we are really focusing on developing our fretting hand technique, so keeping the fingers close to the neck, or by working on legato exercises. So by pretty much always isolating topics like this, most intermediate and especially self-taught players never focus enough on synchronizing their hands in their routine, and that makes them hit that infamous plateau where they never get to sound like a true professional player and they feel like they're always kind of stuck somewhere in the middle and can't break out of that. So with this first really cool exercise, I want to make sure to really lock in with both my picking hand and my fretting hand. Due to the pull-offs in between, my picking hand is playing this cool pattern. So kind of like a shuffle pattern. And to increase the synchronization benefit, I also make sure to mute those upstrokes. That quick transition from open to muted notes is also very difficult for a lot of guitar players. And those pull-offs with my fretting hand have to be perfectly in time and perfectly in sync with the picking pattern that I'm playing. So this is one of those secret super effective exercises for your routine that's extremely practical and beneficial because it brings together your picking hand and your fretting hand. You not only work on your speed, you also work on your synchronization and cleanliness. Your picking hand is working hard with that cool swing pattern that you usually don't really work on, especially as a rock and metal guitar player. Your fretting hand is working hard with those pull-offs. Switching between open and muted notes will keep you busy as well. Tons of benefits with just one exercise, and by practicing this one for just 5 to 10 minutes a day, you work on all of those things with just one exercise. Pretty cool, right? By the way, if you're not just watching these videos for fun, but you're actually serious about your guitar playing and progress, and you want to take your possibly self-taught guitar technique from this to this, in just 30 days, you can download the new Progress Booster exercise package that I made especially for you on patreon.com/burned. That's my online guitar academy. I helped over 40,000 happy guitar students over there already with achieving their technical dream goals on the instrument. So let's finally also take your guitar technique to a world-class level over the next 30 days. Just click the link down below, patreon.com/burned. Download the brand new Progress Booster exercise package I made for you. No more excuses, get started today. I'll see you inside. But now let's move on to exercise number 2. So the second exercise might just look like your typical scale run, but you might have noticed something very special about it. As guitar players, we're kind of creatures of habit, so we pretty much always rely on the same patterns when we play our scales. So something like this with 8th notes or 16th notes, for example. But with this pattern, I'm playing a 7-note pattern in 16th notes. So I'm playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on, which is really tricky. But by practicing my scales in odd groupings every single day, I once again train both my picking hand and my fretting hand, because I have to synchronize them in the weirdest ways ever. Maybe you've seen the big challenge with this pattern, because after I play my first 7 notes, I'm right here with my ring finger, and the next sequence also starts with my ring finger on the high E string. So I kind of have to either move it like this or roll it in order to hit the pitch in the right time. So when things get faster like this, I roll it, quite similar to what I'm doing when I'm playing an arpeggio with my rolling middle finger or rolling ring finger, sometimes rolling pinky finger as well. And the same thing happens with the next pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This time with the index finger. So by challenging yourself with odd note groupings in your daily scale practice patterns, you will run into some uncomfortable fingerings. You will have to work very hard on synchronizing your hands. Once again, since your picking hand and your fretting hand have to think in those odd note grouping patterns. So awesome hand synchronization benefits. Also a big creative benefit, because applying this to your guitar solos will make you sound much more interesting and progressive, if you like. So once again, this falls into the method of a lot of benefits with just one exercise. Now here's the third exercise. This one is for the speed junkies. Alright, things are getting a bit faster, and this is a great technical speed workout. If you subscribe to this channel, which you should be, so that you don't miss helpful videos like this, you know that I can really recommend working with speed burst, because it unlocks your wrist and it forces you to push outside of your comfort zone. And my favorite way of working on picking control and speed is mixing different note values. For example, with this exercise, I'm mixing 16th notes with 16th note triplets. In an interesting scale as well. This one is often referred to as Spanish Phrygian or Phrygian major. It's the 5th mode of harmonic minor. And by actually mixing different note values in my scale practice, so not just only working on 16th notes or 16th note triplets or 8th notes, I'm working really hard on my picking control, because as you will notice, it's quite hard to switch between different note values, especially if you're used to always just practicing the same note value over and over again. So just endless patterns of 16th note triplets or 16th notes. It's also great for your timing and rhythm skills, because you have to focus on really feeling the subdivisions once you switch. When most intermediate and self-taught players are forced to quickly switch between different note values, they often rush or drag a little bit after each transition, because they need to get adjusted to the new note values. So with this exercise, you want to focus on being in time right after each switch, after a first note immediately. And of course, it's also a great way of pushing speed and control, because you have those fast speed bursts in there. That's one of my favorite exercises at the moment. And as you can see, it falls into the category again of tons of different benefits with just one exercise that you practice each day. But I have one more really cool challenge for you. Let's check out this unusual arpeggio workout. So you might be familiar with the kind of common arpeggio shapes this workout is based on, but the way of actually practicing them here is what makes this very, very special. As you know, most virtuosic guitar players always work with sweep picking with their arpeggio shapes. That's a great way of playing them, very fluid and kind of easy once you actually connect your hand. But this can sometimes lead to kind of boring, repetitive, predictable patterns. So ascending in the shape, and then descending again, and always with the same kind of rhythm. So with this exercise I was alternate picking them instead, which is really tricky, because you're probably not used to alternate picking just one note per string and always transitioning between downstrokes and upstrokes. So if you're subscribed and a veteran member of our community, you know that my biggest tip for this is actually following the strings with your picking hand, so not just anchoring it like this and moving your wrist. You actually want to follow your strings for this picking approach, so that your picking technique is the same for every single string and doesn't weirdly change for the lower or higher strings. But the second cool thing I'm doing with this exercise, it's kind of rhythmically interesting and sounds a little bit unpredictable. So I'm not playing something like this. I'm actually playing it like this. So for the first arpeggio shape, you have a group of 9 16th notes, which is super weird, before it goes into a group of 5 16th notes and it ends with 1/8 note to kind of resolve that rhythmic tension. So once again, this exercise brings both hands together in a really effective way. It's an awesome challenge for your picking technique because you have to alternate pick one note per string. Super awkward, but definitely worth it. I'm working with arpeggios and with odd picking patterns right here, which is once again great for your synchronization, but also for your creative thinking while you're improvising. Playing really cool, kind of odd, unpredictable patterns like this in an improvised context is what separates the professionals from the intermediates. And since you don't want any overlapping notes and definitely no string noise right here, it's also great exercise for developing a clean fretting hand technique. So you also want to focus on keeping your fingers close to the neck to avoid any kind of noise coming from the string. So once again, this is what I'm talking about in this entire video. Exercises with tons of benefits. That's the secret that will allow you to make 10 times more progress than other guitar players that put in the same amount of work and time. You need exercises of the highest quality if you want to develop a professional sounding technique. So one more time, if you're not just watching these videos for fun and you're actually serious about your guitar playing, take your technique to a world-class level over the next 30 days with the brand new Progress Booster exercise package I made for my Guitar Academy on Patreon. Patreon.com/burnt, that's the link down below. These exercises will take your playing from a self-taught intermediate level to a professional level in a matter of 30 days if you're consistent and practice them every single day, because they have so many benefits wrapped into just one exercise. So make the next 30 days count, click the link down below, download the brand new practice package. I'm waiting for you inside. See you there. Greetings from Vienna and bye bye.